I'm going to show you how to take quotations you have found from a primary source and a secondary source and put them together in a paragraph so that you have all the elements that you need to show that you are really in conversation with the sources that you're using and you're not letting the sources take over the entire paragraph. So one of the first things I like to do once I have my quotations picked out, and I'm going to use the print version of Frankenstein, so I'm going to get rid of where I have shown in a previous demonstration how to use either the print version of Frankenstein or the online version. But one of the first things that I like to do is to consider the way that I have introduced the quotation and how the two quotations make a point together, and then I want to comment on each quotation with a green sentence. Now when I comment on or react to or explain the quotation using a green sentence, I want to try to see if I can use some of the exact words from the quotation so that it's really clear the connection between that main idea and the words used in the quotation. So my main idea here is going to be about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, how whatever plane of the hierarchy or level of the hierarchy a person is on, that impacts their choices. So I'm going to think about that as I come up with a sentence to comment on each quotation. By doing the sentence that comments on the quotation I have chosen immediately after the quotation, doing that first gets my brain thinking about what I want the topic sentence or the main idea of the paragraph to be. So I'm going to continue to work on the second one and see what happens, and I may put these items, these quotations and items in different order. Notice that when you are using a blocked quotation for quotations that are more than 4 lines of prose, you start the next sentence not on the same line as the quotation, but on the next line without indenting. So you don't want to indent like you would for a new paragraph. So if your computer does that automatically, make sure you fix that so that you are not indicating that this next sentence is a new paragraph, because you never want to end a paragraph with a quotation. I also see extra line spacing, so let me just take a look at all the line spacing here and make sure that it's all double spaced with no extra space between paragraphs. All right, so that fixed my line spacing so everything is double spaced. Now I still have an extra line here because I'm not sure what order I'm going to put this content in. Now for the brown sentences that are the buns of my quote burger, I'm going to add to have a topic sentence, maybe a connecting sentence between my two sources, no matter which order I use them in, and ending with a brown sentence to connect back to the overall idea of the paragraph and the main thesis, the thesis of the essay. So reading these two sections again, I think I do like having the secondary source content first. I think it makes sense. And so I'm just going to paste that on up there. Give a little extra space to remind myself to write some connecting sentences here. But I'm going to start with a topic sentence in brown. All right, my spacing was getting a little wonky when I had this indented over twice, and it might be fine to do that. I like it indented twice, but the newer version of MLA 9, MLA format version 9, says that one indentation is fine. So as long as you don't have it all over here, I'm good. Also, don't center all of it. I'll go back and fix that. Anyway, you can see I added a main idea sentence. I still have this reaction sentence, and then the part from my primary source to support the things I talk about in here. So I'm going to add some brown in the middle to connect these two things so that I have sort of the double quote burger thing going on. All right, here's part of putting the puzzle together. After looking at these things again, I have changed my mind and I would like to put the primary source first. So I am ready to make a connecting sentence between what I have here and what I have for the secondary source. So I added a connecting idea. So I've got a bun at the top of my quote burger that needs indenting for the beginning of a paragraph. Ketchup, meat, lettuce. Oh, the mustard there. Lettuce. Another bun in the middle. Ketchup, meat, another bit of mustard and lettuce, and I need to end with a bottom bun that connects to the main idea of the paragraph, connects all this middle part to the main idea and to the thesis of the essay if I'm writing an essay. That means you need to repeat some of the key words from the main idea sentence in your closing sentence and from the thesis as well. Your main idea sentence really should have some word, one key term or phrase or word from the thesis in it as well. Because Maslow's hierarchy of needs talks about how one's need impacts the person's decisions and actions and motivations, I'm going to use one of those terms in this concluding sentence as well as the term friendship. All right, not sure why that has a squiggly line under it, but anyway, took care of it. Nope. Spelling. There we go. So now I have a good couple of sentences that connects all the content from the main idea throughout the paragraph back to the main idea of the paragraph and the thesis of the essay, which would be about why Maslow's hierarchy of needs impacts people's choices and motivations. You can see that when you have done all of these things, you have more of your own words in the paragraph than you have quoted. So if you have more black words in your paragraph than you have the colored words, then you need to write more of your own words. So don't let the quotations dominate your paragraphs. That might mean leaving out some of this. So I could do that. I could leave this part out and I could make this no longer a blocked quotation if it were fewer than 4 lines. It looks like it might be right at 4 lines, so I might be able to leave it. But use your best judgment there. If you leave out a sentence in the middle of a chunk like that, then leave the period and include just the period and the 3 dots, the ellipses, because those are different things. The period is one punctuation, the ellipses are another. Using the period and then the 3 ellipses demonstrates that I have left out an entire sentence. I'm not sure what's going on with these red lines up here, but anyway, that's what we have for our one paragraph connecting something from a secondary source on Maslow's hierarchy of needs to Victor Frankenstein and his story. Actually, Mary Shelley, I feel bad. Mary Shelley and her story about Victor Frankenstein and Walton and Elizabeth and Justine and all the characters and the creature. I would really be interested in you writing about the creature in the context of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'd love to see how you compare Victor's level of the hierarchy and the creatures and how that continues to cause conflict between the characters.